this bread with healing energy for those that need it, and for those that don't realize they need it, and for those that think they probably don't need it. Healing energy all around. We bless this bread with our spirit of sharing, with respect for one another, and with care and compassion. We bless this bread with our love for one another. We bless this bread with our love for one another. One of the ways that we reflect this acceptance and this spirit of love for one another each week is that we do share joys and concerns with each other. We were going to just kind of quietly brush past that part of the service, but I know that there are some things in the book, and so I don't want to ignore that time. After you have come up and received bread, if it's a part of your practice to put a stone in the water each morning, I invite you to do that, even though we're not setting aside a separate time to come up to put stones in the water today. And if you're joining us online, I invite you to put any joys or concerns that you might want to share with the congregation in the comments so that others might be able to see them. But we especially want to acknowledge our healing energy to Allison Bashian, who broke her foot this week. And so a stone for Allison. Grateful that you're able to be here. We place a stone of congratulations, as Allan mentioned, to our many young people who have had successful performances of musicals over the past few weeks. It's been a busy, busy week for a lot of our families, and so congratulations to all of those who were a part of those musicals and who were supporting those in the musicals. We place a stone of safe travels and a smooth relocation for Dave and his family, who are moving from Ohio to Texas today. We're going to do something a little different today as we partake of this bread, because we want to acknowledge that in a community of faith, we feed one another. It's not just that we're responsible for feeding one another, we actually do feed one another with whatever we bring to this community. And so there are forks here, and when you come forward, you might be sitting next to somebody that you don't know very well. You might have taken my suggestion to mix it up a little bit and have a little bread basket upset at the beginning of the service. And so you may need to ask the person that you're going to be feeding, do you want anything in particular? Is there any allergies we should be aware of? I do not see any gluten-free options. So it may be that you won't be able to partake of the bread that's right here in front of us today. And I feel sad about that. And it's a reminder for us that sometimes the things that we need to bring to the table are not the things we want to eat, but the things that we know other people might need to eat. So we have forks here. Mike, is there a particular kind of bread that you want or don't want?
I want some of Tom's pawpaw bread.
Some of Tom's pawpaw bread. These are like sizable bites. I'm actually even going to bring a little napkin over to you. Now, if you're willing, I'll just hold this up and literally feed you a bite of it, and then I can just leave it with you. Your hands are busy. And then I'll leave the rest of it here for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a vulnerability to that, to both sides of that. Oh, this black pepper Asiago Parmesan looks fantastic. That's good. I'm going to invite you to come forward by the middle aisle. When you go back to your seats, you can go back to the people that you are most familiar with if you would like. You can return to the people that you came here with. You don't have to, but you can. Whoever comes up first, I'm going to give you a chance to feed Allan. we'll proceed to feed one another. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to. You can stay in your seat. It's okay. Not an obligation, just an invitation. Gluten-free bread has arrived miraculously.
And from this we live.
together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, I give, together together we
Randy will do the thing. You can do the
and
and I'll introduce people as the gift bags are given. They're all well marked. Or maybe actually you don't know who they do you know who they all are? You know who Corey is. Covenant, or do you want to
Yeah, we can start with that. Is there anyone who wanted bread that has not gotten bread? If you just pop your hand up, if you needed to stay in your seat for some reason, or you just got jealous after you saw everyone else and have thought better of it. Okay, all right. We will talk in just a moment briefly about how this might symbolize some other things that we do around here in community and in other spaces. But we also have a delightful opportunity today to welcome some new members. There's an insert in your order of service that has our new member welcoming.
you have that?
And it has, did we want to do the covenant first or the bios? What did you want to do?
Covenant.
Covenant first. So we'll start with the new member covenant that is by Reverend Laura Randall, but adapted for us by Allison Bashian. Thank you. So, new members, we welcome you, our newest members, into the UUCC community. We are so glad that you're here and have chosen this community of fellow seekers to travel with you on your life journeys. Will you accept our gifts of fellowship and service and engage with us as we seek to create a community and a world dedicated to love and justice? If so, please say, we will. We will. And congregation, will you welcome these new members with the warmth and comfort of your fellowship and seek to add your strengths and talents to the new gifts they bring to us? If so, please say, we will.
We will.
That sounded pretty confident. Yes. Then let us commit ourselves to this community with the following words that bind us together in common purpose and common love in the midst of our beautiful diversity of belief. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Okay, I'd like to introduce you to our new members now. So, you want to hand bags out? Okay, so the first, they gave me information, and I'm just introducing them in the order it came into me. So, Jane Winnick has started attending last spring, and she says that she was most attracted to UUCC because she was looking for a place to feel more connected, more spiritual, more outside herself, and also because UUCC is the closest church to where she lives. Is she here? Yeah, she's here. Jane's down there in the beige. Yes. Okay. So there you go. Let them know who you are. Okay, I'm going to keep going so we don't take time, but she'll get her bag. Second is Corey McCardle. Why don't you wave so they know who I'm talking about? And Corey's been attending since summer, and she just really likes the warm welcome that she has received, as well as the diversity and kindness of the congregation and staff. So keep that kindness thing up, okay? Next is Frank Swinehart, who's been attending for a little over a year. He was a prior UU in the Oberlin congregation. He's participated in choir and anti-racism stuff. And he, when we said, what's interesting about you? He says he's from a large family who settled in Ohio before it was a state. So it's a long time Ohioan. Okay, then Eric Hathaway, been attending about 6 months. And he says he's a Cincinnati Bearcat and has returned to Ohio after a 30-year absence. And last, his wife, Lisa Hathaway, who's also coincidentally been attending about 6 months. And she really likes our passion for social and environmental justice causes, and she really loves the people here. So welcome to all of you.
I'm going to read a poem by Gila Jones that sums it up. What is this church? What is this church? It's not the building, except to the extent that we have chosen it as our gathering place. It's not the minister, except to the extent that we have called them to inspire and guide our spiritual lives. It's not the music, except to the extent that we make it when we blend our voices together to produce sounds lovelier than any one of us could make alone. It's not even the beliefs, for we Unitarian Universalists have no single unifying belief, only the combined beliefs of each one of us. The church is the people. Without our committed members, this church would not exist. We are this church. Without us, it is nothing more than a dream, but with us, it can be anything we wish it to be. Amen.
Welcome, newest members. Most weeks, we take an offering that goes out into the larger world to feed people outside of this congregation in one way or another. From time to time, though, we do recognize that we have ministries within the congregation that require a little bit of extra support, and one of those ministries is Harry's Kitchen Crew. Last year, we got to have delightful meals together every second Sunday because Harry's Kitchen Crew was willing to prepare food for us, and sometimes I would even say ambitious, delicious meals that they prepared for us. We do not want the meal to be dependent on somebody's ability to pay for it with a donation on the day of the meal. And sometimes they run up a bit of a bill feeding all of us on a Sunday morning. And so today's offering is going to go to support Harry's Kitchen Crew to help them have the resources that they need in order to continue providing opportunities for us to share meals together and to do the work of our congregation. So I invite you to give generously and within your means. If you would like to put money in the plate as it comes around, you can do that, but you can also use our Cash App, which is $UUCC 44122. I almost gave a different number. $UUCC 44122 is our Cash App. I appreciated hearing the noise and the visiting and the voices as people were sharing bread and others were taking the opportunity to connect. We'll have an opportunity after the service. If you want to share the story of why the bread that you brought is particularly meaningful to you personally, we will have a microphone in the fellowship hall so that you can share a bit of that. I know those stories are important to a lot of us, to be able to share what our bread means to us and where it comes from. I also want to just mention very briefly that this practice of feeding one another is something that we do week in and week out as a community. We do this in a lot of spaces. Wherever we work with our families, we show up and we feed the people around us something. There are some communities that feed on one another rather than feeding one another. There are some communities that are pretty toxic and they treat one another very poorly. And I know we hear about those stories and we may have worked in some of those spaces, and some of us may be fearing that Thanksgiving dinner is going to look like that. But in this space, we try to feed one another nourishing things. There are times when we might not realize that what we are feeding the people around us is not very helpful to them. And so it's also important for us to be able to say, I can't eat that bread that has the banana in it. I can't do bananas. And then the people around us will know, okay, I need to feed you something different. It might be important for us to say those kinds of things when we think about our covenant too. When we talk about we're going to create safe and brave space for healthy conflict, creativity, and fun, we are committing to one another to feed that to each other, creating safe and brave space for healthy conflict, creativity, and fun. And it may be that in some of our ministries we need to say to one another, I'm not really able to hear what you're trying to tell me the way that you're trying to tell me. Can you say that a little differently? Can you say that a little softer? Can you say that in a way that helps create safe and brave space for me to keep being here? It may be that sometimes we need to tell people, you know, I want to be able to show up here and I need a breath. I just need to, the stuff that we're talking about is heavy topics and we've got big decisions to make, and I'm just feeling my heart race and my shoulders tense up while we're talking about this. Can I just take 3 minutes and just kind of get back to center so that we can keep going? So that we know what each other needs to be fed in the spaces where we work and minister alongside each other. It's tempting to feed each other junk food. It's easy, especially in the broader world, if somebody tells us about something that really requires a certain level of compassion and care, it's easy for us to just want to offer platitudes. You know, you hear it all the time when somebody is dealing with grief, and we hear other people offer words like, oh, they're in a better place. But that doesn't really help someone deal with their grief. We might say a lot of things that bypass the opportunity to offer compassion and care, and it winds up being this kind of spiritual junk food. It almost makes us feel better. And so we may have to ask ourselves, who is this comment really helping? Is it really offering compassion and care and comfort to the person that I'm speaking with? Is this really offering them something nourishing? Or is this just a way of dismissing something difficult so that I can feel better? It would have been really easy if we didn't have any gluten-free options up here for us to say, just have the bread that's here. This is easier for me to just give you the bread that's right here in front of you, and for somebody to be able to either just walk away sad or to maybe try to eat something that they really shouldn't eat that's not really good for them. Fortunately, we have miraculous gluten-free options show up at the last minute. But we may need to think about intentionally considering what it is that we feed to one another, not just in this space, but in our homes. What is it that we are feeding one another in a conversation, even difficult conversations, in our workplaces, in our volunteerism? What is it that we are feeding the people around us when we show up? And what is it that we need for them to know so that they can nourish us in the process? So may this experience today remind us of that opportunity that we have to feed one another nourishing things wherever we happen to be, but especially in this community of faith. And together, a song that might stir up some feelings for you. We're going to sit at the welcome table, and I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing, recognizing that some people have been at the welcome table for a long time. What we are singing is aspirational, though. We are singing a song of hope and commitment that we are going to create space for all to thrive in beloved community. And so we are going to sing about a welcome table that exists, but not necessarily in the fullness that we hope that it one day will with our effort and commitment. Very quick couple of announcements. We will have a microphone in the fellowship hall to tell our bread stories today. There will not be a supper on Wednesday evening. I'm not sure how many of you are even going to want to eat a supper on Wednesday evening here, but if you do, the building will be open and you can bring your supper and have it with other people here in the fellowship hall, but we are not providing a supper on Wednesday evening this week. Next Sunday, there will be a craft fair after the service. I know you've heard a few announcements about that. I just want to remind you to come prepared to buy crafts after the service next week. I do want to mention that our Greater Cleveland Congregations core team, in collaboration with all of the Greater Cleveland Congregations folks, have been working really hard over the last year to improve the condition of youth bindovers in Cuyahoga County. That's where a young person is tried as an adult, and we have much too high a rate of that in this county. So we are at the threshold of a county budget hearing, which will be tomorrow, that will provide money for some improvement in the way that young people encounter the justice system in our county. If you can be present for that meeting, that would be great. If you can't, then some phone calls will still help. And Lori Albright and Bev Austin, would you two wave? Where's Bev? There's Bev in the back. Will be in the fellowship hall to provide more information about that today, if you're willing to make some calls or if you're available tomorrow to show up to that budget hearing. Lots of other things happening here. Please do check your weekly emailer about all the things that we are doing here. But in the meantime, may we go with the confidence that we can nourish one another, and may we go with the vulnerability to share what we need as nourishment from one another, that we may be in beloved community here and in the larger world. Amen, and blessed be. I invite you to read along with our chalice extinguishing words as the choir comes forward. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you, choir. If you brought bread and you or a delegate of your appointing would like to take the remaining bread down to the fellowship hall, we can continue to enjoy it during coffee hour.
My intention wasn't just to hand it to you for the whole service, but it worked out fine.
Yeah, as soon as I realized that wireless number 4, it was all the way down. I might have slid my phone on or something.
Yeah, it must